Emmanuel Macron needs to go. I agree with that, even if regrettably. Emmanuel Macron must leave, or France will suffer.
You're welcome to the Pulse of Africa community. I hope you're doing great today. If you're joining us for the first time, don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed and connected to Africa's most important news reports. Your engagements will help this video to reach more people. Thank you very much. In a live broadcast, Niger's president, General Abdourahmane Tchiani, delivered what some are calling a manifesto for African sovereignty. Speaking on Niger's national television, Tiani did not hold back. He alleged that Western powers, specifically France, the European Union, and the US government are working together to destabilize the Alliance of Sahel States. AES is a new regional alliance formed by Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali aimed at breaking from former colonial influences and building a self-reliant future for the Sahel. But according to Tiani, their vision of independence is exactly what foreign powers fear. Tiani claims that France and its allies see the alliance's push for sovereignty as a threat that could spread across the continent like a domino effect. If AES succeeds, he warned, it might inspire other African nations to challenge foreign influence as well. And one man in particular seems to be at the center of this global fear, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the military president of Burkina Faso. They fear his leadership most, Tiani said, suggesting that Traoré's growing popularity and his firm anti-imperialist stance have made him a prime target for outside forces. His influence, Tiani explained, stretches far beyond Burkina Faso's borders, representing a new generation of African leaders unafraid to confront the West. But Tiani didn't stop there. He pointed to the irony of Africa's situation, a continent rich in gold, oil, uranium, and other resources, yet home to some of the poorest people in the world. He blamed this suffering on decades of foreign intervention, manipulation, and what he called imperialist schemes. One of the boldest claims came when he addressed the presence of the US military in Niger. For years, Air Base 201, a massive US military installation in the Agadez region, hosted more than 1,000 American troops and cutting-edge surveillance drones. The base was supposedly built to fight terrorism, but according to Tiani, during its 5-year operation, terror attacks against civilians continued unchecked. How could terrorists thrive when one of the world's most advanced surveillance systems was right here on our soil? He asked. In 2023, his administration expelled US forces and the base was permanently closed in 2024. He then turned to humanitarian organizations, making another controversial statement that the Red Cross was allegedly involved in financing armed groups. As a result, Niger shut down the organization's local offices in 2024. These NGOs are not always who they claim to be, he warned, calling for more scrutiny over the role of international charities and relief groups operating in conflict zones.
Just to tell you about what is happening in Africa, I would rather talk about another current issue, Emmanuel Macron. When he went, still in Brussels, regarding the request for conciliation, where he said, do not interfere in what happens between the Nigerian colony and France. Niger belongs to us. We alone decide the solution. That is why I say it is civilizational. It is cultural. Again, in December 2023, another brilliant French person said, I quote, little fool. I repeat, it is the little fool Emmanuel Macron who opened the eyes of Africans. Little fool Emmanuel Macron who opened the eyes of Africans. This new vision of AES Africans must fail. Niger, Mali, Burkina, if they succeed, others will follow. Emmanuel Macron needs to go. I agree with that, even if regrettably. Emmanuel Macron must leave, or France will suffer. Africa has no history. The same thing Sarkozy announced. Yes, exactly. Africa has no history. And consequently, that is his conclusion. Africa cannot dominate the world. But Africa does not need anyone's permission to dominate the world, since it already dominated it at a time when this world he claims to represent had no human or organizational existence. I close this parenthesis, and that is why I say everything that is happening, this relentless pursuit for France, and the fact that our countries deserve no respect. And this brings me back to our natural resources, which are another point. Beyond the displayed contempt, there are these natural resources that are the basis of French persistence. Because the French understood it before the Nigerians, starting with uranium, exploited for more than 50 years. Since 68, uranium has brought prosperity to France. The French understood this. But uranium has brought misery and the death of Nigerians. Unfortunately, the Nigerians have not understood this. All our resources, whether on Nigerian national territory or in Burkina or Malian subsoil, are the target of this relentless pursuit, as the second point that we observe not only from France, but also from all these Western powers who form a united front behind France. It has nothing to do with France's will to defend law or democracy, which are anyway given with variable geometry, evolving according to context and interests of these powers. So this is why France is relentlessly pursuing us.
Supporters of the AES alliance applauded the speech, calling it a long overdue stand against foreign exploitation. On social media, many young Africans praised the message as a powerful call for unity, strength, and African pride. And the mention of Ibrahim Traoré adds another layer of intensity. If true, the idea that he is being targeted by global powers could shift how African youth and reformists see the stakes of this political moment. As the Sahel navigates its most critical crossroads in decades, one question remains. Are these allegations a wake-up call for African self-determination or a dangerous escalation in the fight for regional control? Only time will tell how this bold message from Niger's president will reshape alliances, redraw battle lines, and influence the course of African politics. What do you think? Is the Sahel finally breaking free or walking into new storms? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Pulse of Africa for more in-depth updates from the heart of the continent. Your voice matters in this conversation. Stay tuned.